Hey guys, what's going on? Is anybody there? I'm so sorry. I'm trying to do at least one live stream once a week during the weekend. So I usually do on Saturday. It'd be funny if I'm like talking to myself. I'm gonna set my timer. Hey Davey. Hey Davey, I'm gonna interview with Davey on Wednesday. All right. Hey Tracy. Hey Felipe. Tracy's dog days. Hello. I'm gonna set this timer because I need to stop by a certain time and get into bed. So I'm gonna set this for an hour. This is how long I got. All right. Roland. Hello, Roland. Hello, Silver. Candy. Haha. I know, right? Oh, where did I put it? Do you guys do that? Am I the only one? You can't be a truther unless you cover your. I put it on the side. You're unstoppable. What if you're naked and somebody hacks into your computer and you let me move this over a little bit. Or maybe it's this way. I don't know. It's in my other room. Anyway, what if you somebody hacks into your camera and you get caught doing something you want other people to know about, right? Yeah, it's no joke. Silver soap. I was like, I don't know about that. And then I called customer service and they had that software where they can basically diagnose your computer if you give them permission to come in. I forgot the name of the programs, but anyway, they can go in and they can actually access your computer from their end. And I was like, well, if they can do this with your permission, what can they do without your permission? So that's when I start covering my camera because I was just like, I don't want to be getting, compromised, unwittingly. Just assume they're always watching who can. Yeah. I mean, at this point with this technology, what you have to assume that, you have to assume that everything that you've said and text and is sent on your phone, but you can't be paranoid about it, but my phone camera is usually down. I turn my cam off, I turn it over. So the microphone hole, well, you know what, they got me there then because I don't feel the microphone hole. But now I was talking to somebody the other day, they have the technology to fake things. Adobe has this audio editing software where if you just get a few minutes of someone speaking, then you can recreate some of the stuff that you can actually make up just like video editing, but you can use audio. It's crazy. So, I mean, we're almost at that point. I mean, we probably are at the point, but nobody has done it yet where you can fake videos. I'm surprised that they didn't try and do that with Trump. I thought they were going to try and do like a fake video of him doing something and try and pass it off as him doing something, So, I mean, they still could do that. They're getting really desperate. So, what do you guys think about the no collusion charge? Anybody? Spectrum. I know I hate Spectrum. If I'm worried about them getting stuff on me, it's probably hours of me cursing out people from Time Warner Cable or Spectrum because I use them in my area, but there's a point where they just kept signing me up for cable. I'm like, I don't even want cable. Like, what are you doing? Do you have a best friend? Or are you a lesbian? Oh, a boyfriend? No, I'm not a lesbian. Why do people think I'm a lesbian? I'm not a lesbian. I don't care. I mean, I don't have anything against lesbians. I'm not a lesbian. I don't have a boyfriend though. I would like one, but I also am enjoying being single at the moment because it sucks when you're in a relationship with somebody and you feel trapped and you don't, I have an aunt that said, I'd rather be alone than wishing I was alone. So it's also sucky being in a relationship when you're miserable or you feel like you're trapped and you can't get out. So do I have that lesbian vibe? This is like the third person that's asked me if I'm a lesbian. Russia did it to Meadow said so. Russian did it. Major Mello said so. Yeah. What charge? I use tape on my camera. I would use what do you call that? That gaffer's tape or no electrical tape. But then my friend got me into using band-aids because what's good about band-aids is when you pull it off, you don't have to keep cleaning the camera. I always have to keep cleaning the camera because the sticky stuff would get into the camera. So band-aids are better. Oh, it's the haircut. The haircut makes it. Does my hair look like I have my hair in a bun? Is that lesbian? I'm just trying to like. I'm really active. I don't have a lot of time to do my hair, and I don't want my hair to break. So when I have the frohawk, it's really easy. It's like putting my hair in a when it was a little shorter. Now it's longer. I can do like bigger buns, but yeah. Yeah, I like men. I hope they still don't mail me extra for that Spectrum comment, right? I know. Spectrum is crazy. You're too cute to be a les. Oh, thank you. But I did have a friend. Her name was Scarlett. She was gorgeous. She was gorgeous. And she was straight up lesbian. And guys would always come on to her and she'd be like, yeah, I don't like men. It was so funny. And she'd always get guys hang on her. She looked like a Latina, like Angelina Jolie, but no fake looking, like no plastic surgery. She was beautiful. She was gay. So there are really pretty lesbians out there. Right? They'll build a fake war since our smart. Well, they did pull a fake war. They did pull the war in Iraq and other wars, the Gulf of Tonkin, like the Vietnam War. I mean, there's so many wars. I mean, they're just like this line hasn't started with the election. They've been lying to us ever since, I can remember all throughout history, the elites, the powerful people, they lie. But the thing that's different about this time in history is the internet. So, back in the day, before there was TV, there's radio newspapers, and we just had to trust what the people in the newspaper and the radio said, and then the TV, and then you have to trust what people on the TV said. But now we can like fight back. Like I'm doing now, either one of you guys that's in this chat room can make your own YouTube channel or social media, and you can use your camera like this, and this computer and this camera is the best weapon we have against that. So, and that's why they're trying to censor us, because they don't like the competition, and they don't like being called on their bullshit. Once FISA's declassified, oh hell will break loose. Will they declassify FISA? Yeah, fear is a great motivator, and they know how to use it as a weapon. Very sure. Very Are you going retro, doing the 80s hairstyle? Are you a hairstylist, Craig? I'm just. It's like I don't have a lot of time to do my hair. I have really thick curly hair, so it's very time consuming. And a lot of guys understand that, especially guys that have short hair. If you're a guy that have longer hair, you can understand it takes a little bit of time to detangle and comb through. But if you have curly hair, if you have thick hair like mine, it takes a long time. So I'd rather just put it up and wear it down for special occasions. 911 will be exposed as an inside job. I mean, it already is. I mean, if you really look into it, the thing is, even things that are being quote unquote exposed, they're people that they're still not going to believe it. They're going to choose to believe even if they have facts in front of them. But you see how the SJWs are, but they don't use facts, they use emotions. So there's still people that, all of this stuff is already exposed if you want to look into it, if you're willing to see the truth. But, you're on active duty. I don't know. Are you in Texas? You in Texas? I'm not doing the long distance thing anymore. If you love Trump and don't vote, shame on you. No, I'm no hairstylist. Alex, I've told my son, if you don't vote, you have no right to complain. Well, but I mean, I understand I didn't vote last election, but I don't complain either. But I mean, that's so cliche, because at the time, I mean, if like Hillary was running or if Nancy Pelosi was running, would you vote for one of them just to vote? Why would you vote for two people that you hate? Why would you put your energy into that? You know? If you were to vote for Obama, or I don't know, I mean, if there are two people that are equally bad that you think, because a lot of people's perspective that didn't look into Trump or didn't really know, they thought, like me at the time. Well, I knew that Trump was better than Hillary. I did know that. I didn't care. But I don't see that. I really don't. I don't believe in just voting just to vote either. So if you honestly believe that there are two people that are just as bad, you know, people will. I'm actually a Fort. What is Fort Sam? What is Fort Sam? Is that like a military base? They don't look at blatant flex. Yeah, you can always vote for someone other than them too. But what if it was just them two? I'm just saying, what if you didn't feel like there was nobody else and it was just those two? Why would you vote for them? Okay, say it was like Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, Beto. Maybe there was no Republicans, no right side. It was just all them running for president. Would you vote? Who would you vote for? Okay, knowing what you know now, would you vote for Trump? Yeah, I would. I would vote for Trump. I just, but I also think that even if you do vote or you don't get the outcome, there are other ways to change the world than through politics. So I still don't put all my eggs in one basket, because even when I thought Hillary was going to win and I was all depressed, I wasn't going to stay depressed. I would probably be like depressed for like a week, but I wasn't going to like let it ruin my life. Or, you can't give those people that much power over who you are and what you do and how you feel. You can write in somebody, but I mean, most of it is controlled. I mean, so this what happened the last election was a flipping miracle. And I think what happened was because of their hubris, because they just thought they had it, and a lot of people, even I had an aunt that I didn't know that she voted for Trump until a year later. She said she kept quiet. A lot of people just kept quiet, Hell no, I hate Beto. Beta male orc is delusional. Yeah, he's delusional. What's his name? Jimmy Fallon did a very good. He did a really good parody on Beto O'Rourke, and it was funny because I was just like, I feel like I need a sign language interpreter, and anytime I hear Beto O'Rourke speak, because he speaks with his hands like so much. It's so funny. YouTubers are amassing thousands of viewers. They need to get them to vote. I think a lot is happening. And then Brandon Strzok, I think I said his name right finally. YouTubers are amassing. Yeah, Brandon Strzok, he just did the walk away. He's having town halls. He did one in the gay and lesbian community in New York. He did one in Harlem. He's going to be doing more. Do I like white? What are who white? Oh, white boys. White boys? I like all kinds of guys. Do you follow the Q drops? I don't, but my best friend kind of keeps me up. He follows it religiously, so he tells me. I barely have time to do my live streams and to throw up videos. And I have some interviews coming up. I'm trying to be as consistent as I can with all the stuff I'm doing. Yeah, he's waking up a lot of people. Q is just really bad YouTubers and chance suckers. I don't know. I mean, I think that, like I said, I haven't looked into it. I can't say yes or no. I don't really have a strong opinion on a subject like that unless I've looked into it. So I'd vote for Barbra Streisand. I wouldn't. That bitch seems crazy. She's an amazing singer, though. She seems crazy, but not in a good way, like a very controlling, rich woman, like that's had too many plastic surgeries, you know, crazy. Um, greetings, hip hop independent. What if I use Scotch tape instead? Well, I mean, if you use Scotch tape, then it'll be blurry. They can still make you out. So, oh, really? You just did a video on vaccines? Just one short one, just showing Trump saying he's anti-vax. He is. Is this the one where he was with what's that doctor's name? The black doctor. That's the neurosurgeon. Ben. I can't think of his name. Was it that one? You mean a smiley face sticker? As long as they can't see through it, I guess it's okay. Matthew Jones. Yeah, I'm gonna try and do live stream either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. But I'm I have my best friend did some artwork. He did it really for my music a while ago, but I'm gonna start reselling them. You guys should check it. Don't buy it yet. This is just a sneak peek. Here, truthertalk.com. And if you go to shop, hopefully by the end of this week, they'll be ready for purchase. But I made these bumper stickers. I'm gonna make a couple videos talking about them. All lives matter, men and women. Like those bumper stickers and those yard signs that people says that all lives matter, men and women. No, it says Black Lives Matter. Wait, I have to look it up. Like Black Lives Matter. Let me see. Yard sign, and it has. Okay, I hate this flipping sign. I hate this fucking sign. It says Black Lives Matter. Women's rights are human rights. No human is illegal. Science is real. Love is love. And kindness is everything. I fucking hate those signs because they're so I went on tangent. I'm trying to keep up with they're so like hypocritical, and they're such like a half truth. It's not. So I made. Don't take this because I had it copyrighted. But I made one that says all lives matter. Men and women have equal rights. Veracious science is real science. There's a difference between legal and illegal immigrants. Where there is love, there is life, and freedom is everything. So I had these made, and I had a couple of artwork, a couple of pieces of artwork that my friend, he drew, and they're awesome. You guys can go and check them out. They'll be available for sale by the end of this week. But if you go and check them out on the website, I'm just trying to get ways to make money other than, YouTube, because they're demonetizing so much. Cereal brain. How about a date? I'll think about it, Glitchmod. Are you crazy? I can't do crazy anymore. Are you crazy? Will you ever do natural hair tutorials and give me tips on natural hair? Probably not. But I can recommend some really good natural hair bloggers for you. And you really have to look at somebody that has your style of hair. I have 4C hair. Am I crazy? Yeah, but I'm good crazy. I'm good crazy. Not bad crazy. So, Chutha, do you think that what Malcolm X said about libs and conserves is the real truth today, like black back then? Yeah, I do. He was very wise. I mean, he was very. You really have to read his autobiography to get where he was coming from. Why he was so. I mean, I feel like after I read his biography, I understood why he had a perspective. But when he came back from Mecca, and he was actually experienced integration on a positive level, and he wanted to leave Islam, and he started preaching nonviolence and coming together, and the Nation of Islam flipped out. I'm I don't want to say my age anymore. This is the year where I'm supposed to like not be honest about my age because I look younger than I am. Black Lives Matter. Okay, message me Glitch Mod on Facebook. Whites already care about blacks. It's your leaders we hate. Are blacks and Hispanics just tokens being used for power? All lives aren't mattering the same. Yeah. California Navy man. When did Asians in America get their minority status revoked? I don't know. I don't know. Glitch is a good boy. Okay. We appreciate you. Oh, thank you. 29 forever. Hey, I'm 27. I'll be turning 27 this month. Don't forget, tape doesn't stop them from hearing you. Yeah, I know, but I don't have anything. I'm more worried about video than tape. Yeah, that's a good answer. Asians got it revoked when they became richer than most whites. I'm working on getting, maybe in a couple weeks I can have this done too. I'm working on getting a call in so you guys can call in. I can actually talk to you. So, do you think you would be interested in an acting career that are about to be big and for new actors and actresses? Actually, I did pursue acting. I was a theater arts and music composition major, so I'm an artist. So, interesting story about acting. I got into acting because I was really shy, speaking in front of people. I was terrified, and that's the number one fear. If you guys don't know, is public speaking. More than thank you. More than like heights or spiders or guns is public speaking. I used to be like terrified. Like you put me in front of people, I would be like shaking. So it was kind of funny because my best friend in junior high had a crush on this guy, and he was in the theater department. So my friend and I, we were in this academic like magnet program, so we couldn't take arts until like our last year in junior high. And but we we're always like, anyway, so we went to this acting contest because I went with her to this acting contest with her because she liked him and she wanted to go and like kind of stalk him or like support him whenever. So she was like, come along. I went, and I was like, oh my God, like I ended up watching the acting. I was like, this seems like it's a lot of fun. And I was like, thinking about, oh, if I maybe do this, then it would help me like get over my fear of speaking in front of people. And I had one incident, what happened in Spanish class, where we had to write an essay, and then the teacher said you could either go in front of the class and read it, or you can record it at home and play the tape in class. So I played the tape in class, and people thought that I lied and that I had somebody to do it for me. And I was like, this never would have happened if I just went up there and read it. So I was kind of like determined to do that. Long story short, I ended up going to Performing Arts Magnet for high school, and I did acting and dancing and singing and music. And for college, I was a theater arts and music and composition and theory major. So I've done a shit ton of plays, a ton of really bad acting student films. And yeah, I like acting, but the thing that's kind of frustrating me was in the truth movement. I feel like now there are a lot of people that have joined this movement that are like actors, and not actors, not real actors, but people that want celebrity. And I feel like celebrity has taken over the craft of acting. I also did screenwriting for a while too, because when you're a theater arts major, you have to learn playwriting, screenwriting. You have to learn all those aspects. I focused on acting my first few years, and then my last year I started writing because I wanted to have more control over my work, and I didn't want to be typecast. And I actually like writing for other people. But it's cool because now I put all of that into my songwriting. So sorry, I have a long, what's the word? Answer to that. It's funny that you said that. I don't know. It'd have to be something I'd probably create or do if I were to do that again. Right now, I'm more focused on music. So, post Malcolm X was so he was. He's very confident, very, we don't have a lot of like black men that are like that are out. I know black men that are like that aren't as famous, but he was very woke. I have a podcast. Yeah, my best friend and I, we started, Mark Jason Walker. I have a podcast. So my best friend and I, if you go on SoundCloud, you can listen to them. And I'm thinking this channel started in 2011 with our podcast. So my best friend and I started the channel. She's away. She's working on her family. Her son is sick, and she's homeschooling her 3 kids. And her focus is on that. We're going to interview somebody in a week or so, and I think she might jump in on that one. If you scroll all the way back down to 2011, she's a redhead, and she's done some rants and stuff too. But if you can listen to them, they're on SoundCloud. And we actually interviewed people. The first episode, we interviewed each other. Then after that, we interviewed like a bunch of cool people. We got to interview Jim Marrs before he died. If you guys don't know who that is, he was one of the first reporters that was on the scene when JF Kennedy was shot. And he did extensive research into the case, and Oliver Stone used his book as a reference to write JFK. And he's an amazing like reporter. He's like OG, like him and John Rappaport. We're gonna try and get John Rappaport too. I was talking to my partner of the channel, not my girlfriend, but my best friend. We're talking about trying to reach out to him and see if we would interview him. He's like, they're like old school reporters, the ones that would like actually go out and like interview people and do private investigation work in order to get stuff, You would never know. I know. Oh, no, sorry, I need to read this. Thank you, Mousy. You would never know you were ever scared to talk in public. I know. It's something that and driving are two, like the most, being able to talk in front of people. I can always talk. If I knew you silently, I would talk your ass off. But it wasn't a problem like, privately, but getting up, yeah, it was terrifying. And driving too. I failed my driving test like 3 times. Now I drive I drove Lyft for a living. So maybe you can run in 2024. No, dude, I do not want to do politics. I'd rather change the world creatively. I don't mind being open about like what's going on because it's crazy and people need to speak out, but I'm not interested in politics at all. Yeah, no. Would you want to? I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it just depends. I mean, let's see. What's your favorite film of all time? I have a lot of films. Probably Indiana Jones, the first ones. I would make more Indiana Jones references than Star Wars references. But I mean, that's the first. But there's so many movies I like. Nobody does. Okay, let's see. Malcolm X was wise. Read his book. Homeschooling is an excellent idea. Helps avoid indoctrination. Yeah, and the kids that I know, mostly what's her face? She's on my channel too. She hasn't been around. She's American Curl. She homeschools a little boy, and it's very like it's the kids I know are so smart. They're so like mannerable, and there's just nothing like one-on-one training or getting to learn what you want to learn. You excel at such an exceptional rate And when I was teaching, it's really hard to give all these kids the attention that they need. Some excel faster, some don't excel. The whole language issue is a barrier. Yeah, Tara, I didn't get my license until I was 20. Yes, I heard about that. Richard Free 212. Okay, he asked, how do you feel about the armed SWAT that violently stormed into a home in Arizona and kidnapped 3 children because they had not been vaccinated? Yeah, I heard about that. I went to the vaccine rally in Texas at the Capitol on Thursday, and I went on my work break, so I was only there a couple hours. But yeah, I didn't even know about that. That's crazy. That's crazy. So what happened? I heard was the social worker, the child was sick, and the social worker was in the situation, and she found out that they weren't vaccinated, and she called. It's crazy. What do you think about Trump 2020? Yeah, I hope that happens. I read about a woman who homeschooled her children. They knew 4 languages. My friend's son, who's homeschooled, he knows Japanese. Yeah, you can. I mean, you can. Kids. This is the thing about children. People think children are stupid. They're not stupid. Children will learn anything if they have a passion. You can teach them anything. You see so many YouTube videos of these kids that can play like instruments really well at like 5 years old because they want to do it, and their minds aren't. They're probably not occupied with playing video games or stuff like that. And I don't think video games are stupid because I like video games and the graphics are amazing, but you got to really be wise about where you put your energies. But if you're a kid that's playing, guitar 5 hours a day as opposed to playing video games, you're probably going to be better at guitar than than video games. If you're learning 4 languages instead of learning stuff that that isn't constructive, you're probably gonna not, what am I saying? You're probably gonna know 4 languages. I work with this kid who was Down syndrome, and he was fluent in Spanish and English. He can read, write, speak. He can read, write, speak, and listen to English and Spanish. He had Down syndrome. Okay, so there's no excuse. And I liked him too. He was stubborn as hell. He is a great spirit, though. I am 5'7", and I like white boys that like black boys. Men, not boys, but men. Yes. Yeah, children. The thing is, you just have to explain things to children in a way that they want to understand and make them excited about doing something. But I read about like all these people like back in the day before TV and stuff like in Europe during like the Renaissance, and people all they would paint and shit, and they knew, like, it was common to know multiple languages and knowing how to draw and understanding, playing instrument, like that was common. That was just like the thing, because that's all people had to do. They didn't have other things to like distract them. Why are they forcing vaccination on people? Because they want to cull us, I think. Yeah, it doesn't. I think it's subjective. The public school system, one size fits all, does not fit all children. It doesn't. And I mean, I come from a family of teachers. My grandmother was in administration. And it's also a way to indoctrinate people. The way that it's set up. You think about it, your children are away from you for 8 hours a day. And by the time they get home, you have a few hours home with your parents, and then you go home and you go to bed and get up early the next morning, and you don't have a lot of time with your parents. So your parents are distracted because they have to work, and then the school system, the communist school system, has your kids from the time they are 4 years old all the way up to the time they're 18 for 8 hours a day. And you're lucky you get summers off. But this is what um, Charlotte Iserby was talking about, somebody messaged me to look her and John Taylor Gatto up, but I already knew who they were, but I was glad that some of my subscribers knew about that as well. You guys should look those people up because they have very, very interesting, like, research and experience on finding out how the elites try to infiltrate the school system and make it, brainwash people. And this is why we have what we have today with the crazy SJWs. Oh shoot, I put the website. You guys go check it out. I didn't hit send. Put it in and check out. Don't buy it. Don't buy it yet. Don't buy anything, please. But it's a preview. You can go check out the bumper sticker I was talking about in the artwork. I'm not married. I don't have kids, but I love kids. I'm close to my friends' kids. Okay. My mother believes, hold on. Who covers, wait, shoot. I like speaking. I like talking to people. Yes, he's a demon. My family wasn't literate, but my family wasn't literate, just not educated. So my curiosity was always read Shakespeare plays. Wow, really? How did you interpret the language? Did you get like Cliff Notes? Anna Irene Martinez. How did you know? Did you have teachers that helped you? Because I didn't get into Shakespeare until I was older, even though I was in acting, but it's like a different language, because you have to kind of interpret it, and then the type of English they spoke was different. Nope, it's not for safety. Preventing a mass outbreak of disease is not for safety. No, it's not. Hi, sad time to have kids. Yes and no. I don't know. Maybe I'm selfish. I still like to have kids. I don't know, Glitch Mod. You're making me blush. And this is fake blush, but you're making me really blush. Yep, they don't prevent anything. No, cell phones are far worse than laptops with cameras. You mean as far as what they can record? Probably, yeah, because they're with you all the time. People use them all the time. I use my cell phone for work, for, I'm not really on Instagram. Like, it's not the shit they're putting in these shots. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to actually interview this guy who we had on our podcast. His name is Joe Atwill. He's an author. And we were talking about, he's older too, because I wanted to get somebody older that remembers the polio scare. So, because we're gonna talk about his book, and then we're also gonna talk about the polio scare from somebody that actually was old enough to live in it and what it was like. Because, call me crazy, but I've just been thinking about this lately, especially when I talked to my mom, and I was like, I'm like, do you know anybody that had polio? And she was like, no. My parents had me late, so my mom's like 70s, in her 70s, and I'm kind of thinking, I think people did get polio and get paralyzed. So I'm not saying that people did not get paralyzed, but the scale of what they're trying to make it look like was happening is not as big as they said it was. And even when I was doing research, I was looking at, it said 1% of people that got polio actually got poliomyelitis. And that's when you see people in the braces and the iron lungs. That was like 1% of people. So if it was like this big epidemic and everybody was getting polio and need to get vaccinated, wouldn't there be more people that were paralyzed now? That, that older people that would be paralyzed now? Wouldn't I know other people that knew a lot of people that were paralyzed? And I'm not disrespecting, because I think there are people that did did become paralyzed, but then there's other factors that could have caused that besides the virus that has been hidden and erased from history. So we're going to talk about that. Kind of like the measles. I think it's kind of like the measles. break. And see, this is at a time where people didn't have the internet or the social media to fight back, right? So if you just saw something in the paper and you're like, oh my God, if you're in like New York and you're like, oh my God, all these people are getting paralyzed in Iowa and all over the country, but you don't really have any reference, you don't really know for yourself, you have to believe what's being told to you. And they had, just like, you know, they have celebrities going out now, they had what's called the March of Dimes. And they had, I found this really good video. It was like Sammy Davis Jr. and Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz and all like the like hot people, the A-list actors of that time were going and speaking on, saying, oh yeah, we're going to do this, you know, polio, like March for Polio and blah, 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 blah. And then Jonas Salks, you know, you have the newsreel with him inventing the vaccine and now everybody has to get the vaccine. I think that there's been a lot of exaggeration as to how bad it was. Plus the famous picture where you see there's a bunch of people in the rooms with iron lungs. I found a historical website where that picture was, and they said it wasn't like an anti-vaccine website, it wasn't a pro-vaccine website. They were just commenting on the picture itself, that picture was a stage representation for the March of Dimes. So it does not accurately portray the scale of people that were affected with the polio virus. So I think that needs to be reevaluated. And a lot of people, that's going to piss a lot of people off, because when you start talking about vaccines, people are like, oh, well, you know what's not fun? Not having polio. Oh, what about polio? What about smallpox? And smallpox is another one. I have to get into that later. But and I think it's all the way that they were able to spin this misinformation all had to do with the fact that we didn't have the resources to go and research things for ourselves. We just had to trust whoever was in charge. So how many kids do you want to have? I don't know. One? I want to adopt maybe. And I would like to experience being pregnant, but I like to adopt. I'd adopt too. What do you think about, I spoil my friends' kids. That's what I have. What do you think about CERN? Oh yeah, that's some crazy shit. I actually would love to go see CERN. In fact, how far is it from here? I'm going to Germany in September, and I was thinking about trying to go. I need to look into them. I'm glad you brought that up, because I think you have to make an appointment to go see, but I want to go see the Hadron Collider. Yeah, I think that's definitely, they're fucking with some crazy stuff. And did you see Mark Jason Walker? That they had like that that it was like it was supposed to be like a grand opening or something, but it was very demonic, like the ceremony that they had. It was crazy. It was crazy. I used to think that was crazy too, but I'm like, there's only so many times that these people use Baphomet and devil's heads and checkered floors and third eyes in their stuff. I'm like, can't you find any other like symbols? There's lots of them. Why do you guys keep using the same ones? Funky Monkey, was your mother paralyzed by a vaccine, or did she get polio, or what? Polio or autism? I'm gonna take my chances with polio. Polio is actually a stomach virus. So for it to, another thing that I came across in my research was called polio-provoked poliomyelitis. And they noticed a correlation with children around that time, because it struck children, right? That had their tonsils out, because they were trying to figure out, like the original virus enters the oral, like your mouth fecal, like when you take a dump, your oral fecal route. So usually it's found in feces. And if people crap in the water supply, it gets in the water supply, you can get it that way. If you're, it's in your feces, you wipe the back of your, your body, and you don't wash your hands, you touch your mouth, that's how you can get polio. So what the doctors were, what I read in the old medical journals and stuff around that time, what they were talking about was, they were like, how does it get into the central nervous system? Because that's what it would have to do. A stomach virus that's usually found in the stomach would have to get into the central nervous system and able to paralyze you. So they were talking about like how, like, if it was present and kids had their tonsils out, and it was open wounds, and if you got it in and you had the polio and you like shut your mouth and you had like the tonsils gone, and your tonsils is supposed to filter out viruses and stuff like that. But if you had open wounds in your mouth, and the organ that was supposed to filter out viruses and stuff makes you more vulnerable to getting paralyzed. So it was that, and also a combination of like Paris green and DDT, which if you look up the symptoms of metal poisoning and I'm sorry, chemical poisoning and polio paralysis, they were the exact same symptoms. And the diagnostic criteria for that situation was it didn't really they didn't really have a strict diagnostic criteria to diagnose somebody with polio. Like you had to be paralyzed for a couple of days and like, oh well, it's polio. Like it wasn't like a long time. And then in addition to that, there was another lady. Check this shit out. This is gonna blow your flipping mind. I'm actually probably in a month or so, but I'm working on another video talking about this lady. I'm gonna type her name in the section. Her name is Elizabeth. And I've been trying to make copies of everything I find, because if this gets out during this time, people are going to try and erase this stuff. Elizabeth Kinney. She was a nurse in the 1940s that actually cured people of polio. Now, polio, right? When they were diagnosed with polio. Now, she was a real person. She was so popular that she actually went to the White House to visit Roosevelt at the time. She had an 80% success rate. Time magazine did 2 articles on her. They did a movie about her, like a movie that was up for an Oscar about her. And she was in Australia, so people knew about her, right? But she came against resistance from the medical industry because she's this woman who's a self-taught nurse. And I think at the time, you didn't have to go to medical school or like technical training to be a nurse. But a lot of doctors were hating because they're like, who's this nurse that's telling us like what we can and can't do, and who is she to think she can cure polio? And what she would do, she would use hot packs, hot baths, and physical physical therapy, which a lot of physical therapy that we use today when people that get injured and have to relearn how to walk is based on her methods. And it makes sense if you think about the chemicals. If people are absorbing the chemicals and they're getting into the muscles, what she's doing is purging them out by the hot baths and the hot packs, and then getting people to learn how to reuse their muscles. And she was able to get people like back to normal, well, 80% of the time, right? And even I found a clip of if you ever watch this old show called MASH, he's an actor named Alan Alda. He actually talked about her and how her methods cured her. And had he gone original route, he would have been paralyzed. Because what the doctors would do, they would put people in leg braces, right? Well, the muscles would like cramp up. And that's why you see like somebody's foot's like this and they'd be like that, because the muscles are cramping. They'd have spasms. And if they're toxified and they're like this, and they would stay like that. So they'd either have like, deformed legs, and what the doctors cure to that was at the time is what they'd make to put them in leg braces, so they would like straighten them out, right? And it was very painful because that's not how you do it. So yeah, I'm actually I'm trying to put it at a very, like, some of the videos that I've done, I haven't done a lot, but some of the ones that are more tightly edited, I'm working on one of those. I'm just working a lot, so I can't do this. I wish I can put more videos out like that, but you guys should look that up. It's fascinating. You can probably still YouTube her. And Suzanne Humphries Dr. Suzanne Humphries did a really good lecture talking about it. If you Google Suzanne Humphries, like polio, and she does a lecture. Now, it's not the most aesthetically pleasing lecture, but what I did, I watched it and I took lots of notes. And then what I did, I cross-referenced and I tried to find out everything that she talked about in that lecture. And that's what I found. And it's phenomenal. So yeah, they didn't understand about muscles and all that stuff, Angel Hill. Who's Angel Hill? Elizabeth Kinney. Funky Monkey. She was a nurse. Yes, very true. My mother had her treatment. What? What? Your mom had her treatment in Michigan? Did Funky Monkey, was your mom treated by her? If she was, I would like to interview her. Like, it's because the doctors did not know how much she found out they were, and yes, she did. She used massages. She used, yep. You're out of your minds. Am I out of my mind? They didn't understand about opposing message. Yeah, Paula, she was well. AZD killed more people than the AIDS virus. Tommy Prophet Monsoon. You need to see, if you haven't seen it already, House of Numbers and the Empire's New Virus. And that will explain all about AIDS and AZT. You're not an Alan Alda fan. Who's Wayne Rogers? But just go look at his interview. Because it's funny because the interviewer is like, oh yeah, he was talking about how he got into reading. And he was like, yeah, I had polio when I was little and I couldn't go outside and play. So all I had to do was like sit home and read books, and I read books. And then the interviewer was like, oh, like you're lucky that, that Jonas Salk like invented the vaccine. He's like, well, actually, he didn't invent, like, he goes, I didn't use Jonas Salk's method. Plus, I'm going to put a pause on that. Vaccines aren't a cure. They're preventative. Technically, by their standards, their own standards, they're preventative. So people that were diagnosed with polio, the vaccine wouldn't have helped them anyway because they already had it. So it's supposed to prevent you from getting polio. He didn't say that. But what he did say was that Elizabeth Kinney, he used her methods. He didn't get the vaccine. Plus, if you look up the Qatar incident, 40,000 people actually got polio from the flipping vaccine. Brazil. Yes, Rosamund Russell played Elizabeth Kinney. Yes, I saw a clip. I got a clip from that. Yeah. Who's Trapper? I don't know. I know of MASH. I didn't watch the show. I know of it though. Enough about polio. Why? I'm going to talk about polio now because you don't want me to talk about it. Just see. But why is that so horrible for people to realize? To me, this information is great because that means you don't have to live in fear. You're not dependent on people to make you better. And there are easier, cheaper ways to cure things. Like, why is that? Like, why do you want poisons injected into you to prevent you from having disease? I don't get it. Everyone knows the disease is in the vaccine to build up your immunity in low doses. But because it's injected into your skin, you have no way to purge out the disease and the chemicals. So you actually end up getting the disease, either suppress a version of it. You can get the disease itself. I mean, even like it's known that if you can get the very disease that you're vaccinated for, like the flu, you can get the flu from the flu shot. Like most people with common sense know that have gotten the flu shot and they get the flu, but then they believe their doctors because their doctors like, you don't really have the flu. There is some science that's based on that, but it's more like orally because we're designed to come in contact with diseases orally through our nostrils, through our ears, through our mouth, through the pores in our skin. But the way our immune system is set up, if we get those, we're able to purge them out naturally. And if we have the correct vitamins, like if you don't have vitamin A, you don't have enough to vitamin A, like you get measles, your body's depletes your measles of vitamin A, you can go blind, you can die. So that's when you hear about people dying from measles in like third world countries is because they don't have vitamin A. A lot of their crops are ruined, their land is ruined because of industry. They can't grow sufficient food that have these minerals that they get. They're not getting adequate nutrition. This is why also if you hear anthropologists talk, they always talking about famine and plagues going hand in hand because a lot of people, when they're not getting the right nutrients, they're subject to certain diseases. And same thing with like scurvy. If you've seen pictures of people with scurvy, they look like zombies, right? Their hair is falling out. They become like their skin sags, their teeth deforms because they don't have vitamin C. That's why they call English people limeys, because the English people figured this out. A lot of sailors, they would carry around limes in order to take with them on long trips, so they would they would get adequate supply of vitamin C. There are all these diseases, typhoid, cholera, that went out with with hygiene, right? Because people didn't like taper crap in the same water that they used to wash their clothes and cook with. People would like piss and shit on the street and throw it out. They had horses. Horses would go around and just dumping, before you had cars, just taking shits everywhere, right? We didn't have incineration and trash. We would just throw they have a roast pig and just throw it out in the street. Like they had, so I mean, yeah, the plague was brought on by all because of all that trash, attracted lots of rats. The rats brought with it bacteria, which caused the plague. So understanding why sanitation is important. It's not just, oh, wash your hands. Yeah, washing your hands is important, but you have to understand the circumstances in which people lived in cities. Now, if you live like in the wild where, an animal dies, bacteria, mold will eat it. You have other insects, you have vultures, you have other animals that would eat it. It would seep back into the ground. It would continue the ecological process. If you're in a city where there's concrete, there are not other animals to come and like naturally do away with the waste, and you're gonna bring more disease because you're unbalancing the ecosystem, if that makes sense. I'm actually gonna have somebody talk more about that this month to have another interview set up in April. So I hope I didn't go on a tangent and confuse people too much, but it's the way that the way that we're living, the way that anyway. So your brother was born asthmatic. Irene, I would see if I would be curious to know if your mother was vaccinated or had some other complications while she was pregnant. That's interesting. I think vaccines had to do with my asthma, my allergies, but I wasn't born with it. I got diagnosed after I got my vaccines. But there's actually, when you could sue the pharmaceutical industry, like in the 70s before the 80s, that was one of the things you could get sued for, because not only seizures and autism and brain damage, but asthma was on the list too. How do you feel about chemtrails? Do you believe in HAARP? Yeah, I do. Dr. Nick Bellish, and we interviewed that guy, Dean. I can't think of his name. But yeah. All right, guys, I got 2 minutes and 31 seconds. Your mom smoked while pregnant. Yeah, a lot of people did, and they didn't know that it was bad. Yeah, I think, vaccines have caused a host of issues, many not even known yet. Yeah, very true. Hey, Braden. Very true. But how old were you? Plus the schedule back then wasn't as bad as it was now. We take crypto. I forget to do this a lot too when I put up the videos. I forgot to put in our links, but we take cryptos. And we take crypto, and I bought some Bitcoin, some Litecoin, and Ethereum, but just a little bit. I don't really know a lot about it. I wish I could kick myself for not buying Bitcoin like a few years ago before it would like shot up. Yeah. All right, you guys, wrapping it up. I'm glad I did this timer because I can like stay on track. I gotta get up early in the morning. But anything else really fast before I wrap this live stream up? I'll be donating soon. My freaking brother's still missing out. Oh, thank you. I'm going to I think I haven't really been on it. I'm probably gonna get I have a PayPal, but I'm gonna try and find something else besides Patreon. Oh, by the way, I got my email fixed today. So if you want to email me at info@truthertalk.com, the website, truthertalk.com, that's up, and I will let you know when the artwork and the bumper stickers will be for sale if you want to. I mean, I'll take donations, but I also I wouldn't mind selling something and giving something to people. So, you know. Anyway, all right, you guys. Live stream tomorrow? No, probably not. I get home late. I'm busy tomorrow. I'm busy. The only live stream is probably going to be the weekends at this point. So unless I get that $200 million donation, but other than that, all right, you guys. All right, tell you guys like, peace, your love.